So we just sat down recently with Chris Scott and did an interview, and it seemed like it was a bit of a farewell interview, but by all means it wasn't. It was just we're giving him the respect that's due to him because he's about to get out of the Marine Corps. He's left the shooting team recently to be a part of the advanced marksmanship training package, which is in effect going to have a greater influence on marksmanship in the Marine Corps. And he's somebody that I respect and I've had the pleasure of working with. And I just wanted to say how much fun I've actually had with this interview.
Yeah, Matt, I agree. It's clear listening to him talk about his time as a part of the shooting team in the AMTP. Typical for folks to start to feel really nostalgic as they look back on the time they've had in their careers, but especially with him and the level of reach and impact that he's had and the people he's been able to influence. I think you hear that come through in his voice and the things that he talks about in this episode.
I got to say, he's probably one of the most humble individuals I've ever worked with and ever met. He's good. He knows he's good, but he's not. He has that level of humility where he's not going to come off that I'm good. He stays in his own head. He comes up with the plan and he executes the plan the way he needs to execute it. He knows how to tune a lot of things out, and I think we can all learn a lot just by watching him. And I've been one of the lucky ones who's able to watch that firsthand, and just talking to him and kind of picking his brain. He's kind of a genius whenever it comes to a lot of that stuff. And, it's something I've never experienced anywhere else.
Yeah, that stood out to me as we were talking to him. He's got a true competitor mindset. I think it'd be very easy for him to rest on his laurels now that he's won a gold Lockheimer and all of those other accolades. But instead of talking about that and just enjoying the moment, he's already talking about other individuals that are better than him. He's already focused out and beyond. So I don't think this is the last we're going to hear from Chris Scott. I think we're going to continue to hear from him as a competitor and hopefully in the future as a match director. But I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, and I'm excited to see what he accomplishes in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing I could say is, "Oh, Captain, my captain, farewell." It's not a goodbye, but I look forward to seeing you as we move on in our professional lives after the Marine Corps. So I hope you all enjoy this episode. It was really fun doing this, and I really hope you catch the emotions that are coming through in it. Enjoy. We'll hear from you soon.
Give me a nod when you're ready. Shooter's ready. Stand by.
Hello, everyone. This is Matt Gunlock from the 3GIQ podcast. I'm joined here today with my co-host, Frank Gow, and then our special guest is Chris Scott. Haven't heard him in a while, so here we are. Chris, while we start this out, can you go ahead and tell everybody what you've been up to since the last time you've been on here, which was probably back in October, November? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, first off, excited to be back. It's fun to do these podcasts. Let's see. I was on the team for a little bit. Finished up the McMick and Okie, and then battalion started up this advanced marksmanship training program, mobile training team, and they had me head that up. So now I'm over working at the marksmanship program management section, running this mobile training team. Just a lot of training, since I left the shooting team in about, I think it was February. We've just been on the range on weapons training battalion, getting spun up on the whole program, developing the group of guys. And we're actually gonna be leaving this weekend for our first mobile training team down in Camp Lejeune for SOI East. Yeah. And then MPMS, for those who don't know it, or Marksmanship Program Management Section. It's kind of like a, let's see. I'm kind of this guy that shoots over there, so I don't know if I'll be able to give the best answer. But
They kind of help write doctrine for the Marine Corps, don't they?
they do, yeah. So they manage, it's in the name, huh? They manage all the marksmanship, like doctrines. There used to be like a MARAB that went out each year saying what you could do, what weapons you could use on the annual qual. They're not doing that anymore. They were the ones behind the annual rifle qualification changing and coming out. They just developed, which is what I'm involved with, this new marksmanship program that all the infantry is going to be getting at the SOIs, or schools of infantry. So like, let's see, publications for like how to shoot a rifle, table 1, they manage all that stuff. And then also some like kind of had their foot in some research and development, working with like SysCom, the Office of Naval Research. They do kind of a little bit of everything. It's actually been a very fun experience. I'll be honest, at first I was kind of bummed to be leaving the shooting team, but it's been an awesome experience getting to see kind of some of the broader picture type stuff. And then also working with a lot of the other shooting team guys who came over there. I think we have a crew of like 8 guys. And we brought, just going off the top of my head, you thrown out a number, like 5 guys from the shooting team over. So it's pretty shooting team heavy. And then we have some guys from within the battalion who are also instructors. We even have our token armor. So we have a 2112 or precision weapons repairman who came over. He's, a good shot too. So it's been a ton of fun.
Hey, Chris. So I know you're coming up on your end of service here in the Marine Corps. So what are your plans after you get out?
Yeah. So it's coming up here in July, just a couple months away. And right now, what we kind of have set in stone is we'll be selling the house here out in Virginia. We bought a little short school bus, just like the one I used to ride back in high school. And we're converting it into an RV and just going to drive around the country until about October, maybe longer. We'll see where the wind blows. And then we're probably moving to Tucson after that. I'll go to school for a little bit. My wife's a nurse, but she also coaches soccer. So I'm going to pursue some of that. And then, long-term goal, we'll see how it all pans out. A lot of life can happen, is joining some sort of law enforcement in a couple years. Also looking at staying in the reserves. But we'll see what happens with that. That one's not set in stone yet, but definitely looking at the reserve side.
Yeah. So I think I've done about 5 or 6 PCSs across the country. What's one stop that you're really excited? What's something you're excited to see during your drive?
Oh, let's see. Well, first, and like right when I EAS or start terminal, we're gonna just do a straight shot to Tucson, Arizona, and move all our stuff. So that one's not gonna be too scenic. We're just gonna beeline it.
How are you moving all your stuff?
So I'm doing it I have an old van too that I was converting into a camper. That's maybe some people have seen around some of the matches. Moving it in that. Unfortunately, don't have any air conditioning, so it's going to be a bit of a hot move in July, going to Arizona. And we're just doing like a convoy of our cars. We have like way too many cars right now, so we're driving out like 3 vehicles. Moving ourselves. But as far as like our more scenic trip goes, let's see. We're gonna be going up to like Acadia in Maine, Acadia National Park. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Then we're gonna work our way across country and go down the West Coast. So I've been there before, but like going to Montana, like Glacier National Park, will be a good time. And then like Yellowstone, pretty excited for that. Yeah, it's probably like Yellowstone or Glacier National Park, but we'll see what other like Walmart parking lots or random national parks we stop at between here and there.
You kind of made me realize that I completely forgot to do the planning on this, but we do have a trip that we have to plan for. And I think we said in May, going on a trip like out into Shenandoah National Park with the guys on the team.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for like 2 weeks beginning of May.
All right. So, we may have to push it back. We'll link up and figure it out. But that would be cool if we can get the guys together.
It'd be nice to get like one last little hurrah, like, yeah, kind of you and me both went separate ways from the team there for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really do the proper goodbyes. And now you're back, but you're in kind of focusing on retirement and stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be fun to see everybody again.
So obviously you and I have been working together for about 3.5 years, and we've spent a lot of time working together. You know, from the first time you met me and me forcing my way into my office because the door was locked and we didn't have a key for it, to traveling the country together and putting on matches in multiple geographic locations. What was your favorite trip that we have been on as a team, and why?
Oh, it's hard to pick just one. I mean, there's quite a few that stick out. Like that first trip we went to Okinawa, we ran that there. That was pretty cool because that was like my first experience like traveling to Micmic, and I mean, I thought we put on a good match, and it was a fun environment working with all the guys. Say when we went out to Wyoming for the Wyoming Governor's Cup, that's another one that sticks out. Like I don't know if that's my favorite or not. I'll probably think of another one later. But awesome match. I mean, we got paid to go to Wyoming and like be out there. I mean, not around any Marine Corps base or anything. It definitely made me realize like, wow, this is definitely a dream job. And I have the best job in the Marine Corps. We even like went whitewater rafting. We went on a hike.
Up Heart Mountain. That was a good time.
Yeah, that was a good time. That was a little bit more work than I think we're both expecting.
Yeah. We got pulled over by a cop in Montana because we were driving a blacked out SUV and he thought we were running drugs.
Yeah, we showed him some match videos. We got out of it though.
Yep. He's like, where are you guys coming from? Quantico, Virginia. Why do you have a Minnesota ID card? That's where I'm from. I'm in the military. Oh, okay. What you doing out here? Oh, well, we're on the Marine Corps shooting team and we were just out here for a match. Would you like to watch a video? Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think he was like the sheriff too. I mean, probably like a town of like 500 people, but yeah, that was an awesome trip. That's probably one of the ones that sticks out. That was a good time. Really good match too. I don't want to just like say all the fun we're having besides doing our job, but like we were doing our job while they're shooting. That was fun. Yeah.
No, honestly, you know, asking that question and before you even answered, like I kind of knew you were going to choose that, but for me, I was going to choose that as well. Like Wyoming was just such a beautiful part of the country, and I would love to go back out there and like hike that mountain again and, you know, see even more of the sights.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, probably getting too sentimental here, but like there's just a lot of good conversation too. And like it's fun hanging out with you. But okay, enough of that.
So you touched upon it briefly. You said you know one of the best jobs in the Marine Corps, but you've had a very unique experience. So you did a little bit of time in the fleet, and then you were the action team OIC. You put on these matches like all around the world for the Marine Corps, and then you transitioned to AMTP. What's something you've learned that you would like to convey to the rest of the Marine Corps at large?
Let's see. I'm not like any like grand old like wise person or anything. Pretty good at shooting guns and try to like run some good matches and push the program. Let's see. I think a lot of times like people get wrapped up like there's the big ego thing, like shooting. Something about like being a guy, like every guy is like, I'm a man. I'm good at shooting, and they wrap up like their whole identity in that, and it crumbles down around you pretty stinking fast when you like go to some civilian match and you get whooped by like the Williams sisters who like they at that time they couldn't even drive yet. So you kind of have to get humbled real quick. So I think just going in with a humble mentality, like towards marksmanship is a really big thing. Like realizing you can become a big fish in a little pond pretty fast in the Marine Corps. But just like always trying to learn is, I mean, that's kind of a cliche answer. But also another thing that I think Matt and I have seen a lot across the mix is like guys constantly talk about how they're like better with their gun from home and whatnot.
If you can shoot, you can shoot. Don't matter what gun it's with.
Yeah. So like being a true like marksman or whatever you want to call it. I think it's important to just like to cross train with a lot of different stuff and not get too wrapped up around the axle. Like I need these ideal conditions. Like just show up and grab whatever you got and you should be able to shoot it pretty well if you're actually truly as good as a lot of people think they are. So yeah, just coming in with an open attitude and accept the training from anybody that you come across. Like I've learned a lot of things from a lot of guys, from a lot of different positions. And if I would have just like shut them out, cause I think like, oh, I, went to this match or something, or did this good at this match, I'd be in a lot worse place than I am right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that sentiment. I think what keeps a lot of Marines from jumping into competition is they get wrapped up on gear. A lot of people get wrapped up on gear. And my attitude is more like, hey, if all you got is a loaner Glock and some safe gear, that's what you should come and send it with. And we'll figure it out from there. So yeah, absolutely. I think people get a little too wrapped up in gear. This last Mick East, the top shoot, a lot of my shooters would get wrapped up and say like, I can't believe we're competing against M27s and M18s. And I was quick to point out that I was able to medal with an M9. And on the rifle side, the top shooter, Austin Hill, he was rocking M16 with the ACOG, wasn't rocking M27 with the SCO. So, yep, it is the shooter.
I'll even say that an M9 is a much better weapon system to compete with than an M17 or an M18. Straight up, it's a heavier weapon system. It has less recoil. And the only thing you have to get through is that double action. So, you have a smooth trigger press after that. The M18 is not a bad weapon system, but you're fighting more recoil. It's plastic and it's striker fire. It's not a competition gun.
Yeah, the sights on the M9 are a lot better too.
Mhm.
But I would say that our SL3, like the holsters and everything for the M9 are a lot clunkier in general.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, there's we've seen it time and time again where the guy who wins the rifle match has an M4 and M16 instead of an IAR. That being said, if he had an IAR, maybe he would have won by even more. But it
comes down to skill.
Yeah, prior experience and skill and having a level head on your shoulders in a match goes a long way.
So, you've been dedicated to providing quality matches to the Marine Corps through our Marine Corps marksmanship competitions and Marine Corps championships. This year, you actually got to participate in your first Marine Corps championships since prior to coming to the team. What was that experience like?
I couldn't think of a better way to conclude my time with the team. I've been super lucky on like my whole Marine Corps experience. And thankfully the marksmanship or the competitive marksmanship program in the Marine Corps has kind of been there with me the whole time. I got to my first unit and pretty much immediately they're like, hey, you're a brand new second lieutenant who doesn't like have much of a job right now, or you're dispensable. We need a firing officer for like this match. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know they did that. And so right at the beginning, kind of got hooked into the match thing. Was able to kind of shoot with the team for a summer and then come to the team. And that's kind of where I am now, or just left. So it's kind of spanned this whole time. So there's a lot of times during the match this year, the championship, that I just was like walking around and like reminiscing on all the things I've done kind of in relation to the shooting team, and just being really thankful for that. I was walking along Sat Range and I just like remembered like I shot there, and I mean TBS I shot some matches on Sat Range, and just like even just looking back at like what it looked like back in 2014 or whatever.
The old McDonald's house or whatever it was there.
Yeah,
it was trash.
It was trash. And like to where it came from now, and don't get me wrong, I like was not the person that cleaned up that whole range or pushed that initiative. Like Major Hitchek is like been on the ranges on what frame battalion.
Yep. He pulled everybody out and everybody from the team out, and he's like, let's go do this. And they did it.
Yeah. And so that was cool. Just a little bit more of a visual thing. But yeah, walking along Sat Range and looking at like, wow, we're like shooting on a range that looks like an actual range. There's like walls and all these things that you'd see at a USPSA match. We have a team that shoots just USPSA. That didn't exist before. We have guys coming to the team who are already at like the grandmaster level. Like that, those changes are huge. That wasn't happening really a few years ago. So it made me really proud of like, hopefully I was able to have a little influence on that, or help push it a little bit. So just seeing the guys out there running the match, working their butt off. I know how hard they work to run those things. Just filled me with a lot of pride on like the part I was able to play on that, or yeah. And then also like just the quality of individual that's on the team right now. There's a lot of really good guys, just like on and off the range, even like just as dudes, not even just as Marines. Good people. So yeah, it made me pretty proud to compete in it. And as far as just being on the competitor side, like, gosh dang, that is so easy compared to being on the staff side.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I didn't have to worry about a dang thing. It's like, what time do you need me to show up? Cool. Like, kind of show up then. Leave at the end of the day. And I would drive past, like, I mean, it felt for the guys, but like I drive past all their cars to the shooting team office, like planning for the next day, doing meetings and all that stuff.
Probably saying suckers. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So I mean, it was super enjoyable on the competitor side. I was walking around smiling like the whole stinking time. Like, yeah, like the whole time. I got to shoot like, I've never shot like an actual, I think I shot a division match. So it's kind of like a bullseye rifle match.
Mm-hmm.
But like shooting with all the gear and stuff, like I hadn't done that in like an official match. So that was kind of fun. And then like talking smack with the guys and just winging shots like crazy with bullseye pistol. It was still fun being out there. And yeah, it was super good time being on the receiving end and kind of seeing the fruits of some of our labors as a competitor was encouraging and cool way to go out.
So I do have to say, Lockheimer, you won the gold Lockheimer. You came first place out of all the matches, like, or cumulatively, you had the highest percentage out of everyone else shooting all the matches. What was that like? What was that, the feelings being up on stage? You essentially won Marine Corps championships.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, it's like a neat way to end. My wife got to be there for the ceremony, so it's kind of cool. She gets to peek in the world a little bit. She normally just hears me like talking about work when I come home, or she hears me talking with you, Matt, on the phone like every night. So it was cool for her to see that, and then kind of like they make it a pretty big deal at the ceremony and stuff. So that was cool. Yeah, I mean, so I've been afforded a lot of opportunities within the Marine Corps to shoot, and it's kind of like my main hobby. So there's kind of, I should be decent at it, type of thing. I mean, there was a little bit of pressure on like, I should probably perform well. But yeah, I don't know. It was cool to do it. I'll be honest, it was never really a goal of mine. Because I didn't really think of competing in it that much. It's usually been more on like the match director side of it. So even like when I was there at the awards ceremony, it was like thinking about what I'm supposed to do when I walk across the stage, because I missed like all the awards practice because I was in TRS and I screwed up a little bit. So I mean, once I screwed up, it kind of got rid of some of those nerves. But it was really fun to be there with the guys, and then like after, I got to take a picture with like a lot of the shooting team guys, whichever ones were within like eyesight when I wanted to take a picture. Kind of wrangled up on the stage. Kind of thought that was like the coolest part, getting to be there with the shooting team guys, kind of like trying to make them proud a little bit, like taking a picture with all of them. I mean, that was the biggest deal. During the match, I was just trying to have fun. I was trying to be Columba during the 2-gun match. And then I was just trying to shoot to my best, because I knew I was like way behind going into the USPSA and the 2-gun match. So I had a lot of ground to make up, but I didn't really think about it too much until, don't get me wrong, like the final night, I was refreshing the scores like every 30 seconds, trying to see if I got it or not.
Well, I just want to say congratulations. Awesome achievement. Awesome way to end, your time in the Marine Corps on the active duty side.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It was pretty neat. And it was really nice hearing a lot of people had a lot of kind words to say, and that meant a lot to me.
Yeah, congrats from me as well, Chris. And what an awesome way to send off your time in the Marine Corps. But you mentioned being in a really great mood. It's because you're shooting so damn well. And as one of the shooters left in the wake of your rampage at championships, what's it like to be a cyborg from the future sent back in time just to wreck people at action shooting?
Well, first off, I don't think that's true, but maybe I'm a robot that's not self-aware.
Definitely felt that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey. I didn't start off like super good, and I would still say I'm not like super good. Kind of talk about that big fish in a little pond type thing. The Marine Corps like competitive shooting crowd or like group is pretty small compared to like the big Marine Corps. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely like a lot of really good competitors within it, but I've been crushed so many times consistently throughout my whole shooting career at civilian matches. So it's like, it hasn't been able to get in my head that I'm good. Like there's these, I mean, you guys have both been to the matches. Like there's people that look like they should maybe be on like professional bowling tour or something else instead of like
Dylan Easley.
I didn't name any names. Yeah, there's a wide range of like very athletic people also, like Dylan Easley, I guess. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, they're just been getting beat like all the time, these civilian matches. So it's I don't really feel that way. Especially like anytime AMU shows up at a match, it's like, ah, cool, another military guy, and oh, they got first military, sweet. Like I came within 10%. That's awesome. Yeah, so it hasn't really felt like it. The main people I compete with are the people on the team. Like me and Raider get really stinking competitive with each other. And it's fun, super fun. And then like me and Colombo were getting really competitive. We were looking at the scores on our tablet going in the last stage on the 2-gun match, and we were talking a bunch of crap to each other. So that was honestly the funnest part. So, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of people way better than me.
So actually goes well into my next question. So a lot of Marine Corps shooters are looking at you as the guy to beat. But truth is, like the skill curve in civilian competition is, like you said, that much steeper, and it's very crowded at the top, and there's a lot of really good shooters. So who's someone, I think you might have already mentioned some of those folks, who's someone that you look up to, that you gauge yourself off of, that you're always like, that you're looking to beat when you go to those competitions?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the easy pickings are like, there's the AMU guys. I mean, they're the best of their game. They earn their way. Yeah, they're really good. And the worst part is they're nice people, and I hate it. I just hate it so much. I like wish they were jerks so I just could hate them. But yeah, that's really the biggest people besides the guys within the team. Like don't get me wrong, I want to see everybody succeed within the shooting team.
I love that tone of voice.
As long as you don't beat me, I want to like just we are super competitive towards each other, and it's really fun. And like Guamba smoked me in a lot of stages, so like they're definitely getting very good. But yeah, it's like AMU guys or whoever's winning nationals, like that's the guy to beat. And like Hetherington, I want to beat him. Not very close yet. Nate Saskowitz is just freaking beast and a really nice guy, and I hate it. And yeah, it's fun to compete with him. So I guess those kind of the guys that I'm chasing, but we'll see how that goes.
Hey, at least I beat you at least once in my career and on a stage.
When was that?
Yeah, you wouldn't remember. So it was up at Peacemaker. It was a long range stage. I beat you by 16 seconds.
Gosh. Was that 2-gun match?
Yeah. No, it was a 3-gun because it was right. I don't remember which match it was right before, but we were using it kind of a prep match since we didn't get a whole lot of training prior. And yeah,
you, me, and Major Driscoll.
Yeah, and
I remember that stage.
Yeah, it was with the one with the stump, and I kind of worked my way through pistol, and then long range. I went 1 for 1 on each target, and I think I came second place overall on that stage.
That's it. I'm firing right after this podcast. Never happening again.
Are you coming to the match? On Saturday?
Don't put me on a spot like that.
No, you're not. No, you're not registered.
Wow, you've been looking. Okay, yeah, I'm not registered. I'm probably going to be trying to be a carpenter on a school bus and failing at it. So that's what my Saturday looks like. Yeah.
So I did ask you the question, what was your most memorable trip? But now I'm going to get a little bit more specific. What was the most memorable match that you've shot? And what would you say is your biggest accomplishment and most memorable performance? I know it's like 3 for 1, but shoot.
Yeah, that's a lot in there. Nationals, USPSA Nationals, I think it was like late 2019.
Yeah,
Before COVID hit.
I knew you were going to say that.
You know me well.
I do.
Me and Sergeant Loreno, now Sam Loreno, went down, and it was just us two shooting that together. Really good time. We had a really good training week up to it too. It's just him and I train on the range and getting a lot of solid reps in. But that was kind of the first. I'd had success in other matches before that, but this is like the biggest one. And I just like try to have a good time. I think there's a strong correlation between that and shooting well. And shot, like, I thought really well. So it was cool. I mean, it was like not like a top 3 finish or anything. But it was kind of one of those, like, the first moment, like, wow, it's be like decent at this. Yeah, and so I ended up like making it on the super squad the next year, which was something that like I'd watch those guys on Shooting USA. I was like, wow, I'll never be there. And turns out I still was never on Shooting USA. They never interviewed me or anything. When they filmed, I sucked. So like, but it was, yeah, that was a pretty big match. Like I did well, and I was pretty proud of it. And it was definitely like the highest I'd shot at that big of a USPSA match, and it kind of showed that a lot of the train was paying off. And it was the first moment I realized, like, well, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could be like up there with the top guys.
So
and we got to go like stuff, and like we stayed at a cool hotel. So there we go. I got to get like the non-match stuff was pretty cool there too.
And so we've talked about, you being a match director in the Marine Corps marksmanship competitions, Marine Corps championships, and you and I personally on the side have talked about potentially becoming match directors ourselves. So what does that look like if we actually do it?
Yeah, I know we've definitely tossed the idea around. I would love to keep running matches with you. One thing that I don't know if we're ever going to do it or not. I think we're planning on it, but
I do too. I think we just need to kind of both get stable in our lives after the Marine Corps.
Yeah, there's a lot of open-ended questions right now on what my life will look like, and your life too.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I think would be really cool to see, and I think James Gill kind of looked at this too, or he had the idea for it, was like a match where there's like one division, and like you compete in that division or you don't compete in the match. And he wanted to be like super focused on just like all the best shooters there trying to win the match. I really, really like the setup that we have with the Marine Corps matches, where there's like 4 to 5 to 6 sometimes, depending on which ones they run, regional matches. And if you place in the top 10%, you get to go to the championship match. I think that would be really cool to replicate on the civilian side, in some capacity, because it really, what?
Yeah, I was just going to say it would be a true championships. At that point, it's not necessarily about, money, prize tables or anything. It's about who truly is the best. You have to earn your way into that championships.
Yeah. It drives the competition. I mean, let's be real. Every 3-gun match we shoot, it's called championship. And they're really fun to shoot. And I guess most USPSA, or a lot of big ones, like either section champ, state champ,
area,
national champ. Like USPSA does a little different job of that, because national championships, there are all the best shooters there, or most of them. So it'd be cool to, like, I think a lot of the guys who compete in these sports are looking for that, like, cutting edge, like, competition, like, they have to fight for it type of thing. And I think it can be pretty hard to capture in 3-gun. because there's not like one governing organization. And I don't know if there ever will be, but it'd be cool to have a series of matches where, hey, you don't get to shoot in this championships unless you earn your way there. And then it's like, no crap, like all out brawl for the top at that championship. And I don't know, like it'd be cool to just have like straight cash prizes, pretty much trying to relive the 3-gun nation time. Because I wasn't into 3-gun in a deep level when 3-gun nation was around. And I was like, man, that'd be so cool. So it'd be fun to kind of recreate some of that competition that fostered. What would you want to run? Like, I know.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about that whole idea together, and I like true to what you said is kind of the direction I'd want to take it. My only thing, kind of how we did it in the shooting team. You can only compete within the region that you live, so you have to have an address broken down by that region. So you can't jump over to the East Coast if you're from the West Coast, and vice versa. Or you can't come from the South. You have to shoot within your regional. I don't know. Just a thought. There would probably be some, differences. Like people are, oh, I can't make it during the match at this time. Can I compete in this? Okay, sure. Just because you didn't compete in that other one, but you can't double dip is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, be cool. I mean, I would to run series like that with you.
Whenever you guys end up running, sign me up for it, because championships in 2021 was awesome. That was a legitimately great event. Ran smooth. That was my first taste of championships, and that's always, you guys spoiled me. I tell Matt all the time, you guys spoiled the shit out of me.
That was, if you would have like had a question on what was my favorite match to run, that was like, I know like Matt and I are so proud of that match, and obviously the whole team made it happen, but that was
from Sam making the stages and Raider making the stages and the whole team just getting together, and like it was something we were all just very proud of, because it was something so different than what we've seen before. And it was a truly fun experience. It was exhausting, but at the end of the day, it was something that was memorable.
Not that exhausting though. We were getting done at like pretty early compared to, let's say, at Oki when we were going to like deep into the night setting up stages.
Well, I remember championships in 2019 where we were getting rained on and everything else, and like it was just it almost felt like there was one catastrophe after the other, and not like big catastrophe. It was just natural conditions that was just ruining it for us. It was April and it was like 40 degrees out, raining.
Yeah, that was rough. But yeah, 2021, like I remember us having just in my office there, how we'd always like write stuff up on that whiteboard. We were just like sketching out the idea of this match, and it was almost kind of just like everybody like, oh, we could do this, and we could add this in, and it kind of seemed like one of those ideas that would never actually like get approved. And when it was actually like, yeah, sure, do it, I was like, whoa, we couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it on the competitor side, because we really enjoyed running it on the staff side.
Yeah, it even made staying in camp upshur seem okay. Which I mean, I think I got a lot of time bonding with the other shooters, being stuck in the same squad bay with the Paris Island shooting team. Definitely.
I made some good friendships during that championships, because I was receiving text messages in the late afternoon of turkeys being there and it being turkey season and me not being able to grab my bow and go kill a turkey. But no, it was pretty cool. Like just the people that you meet, like, and I love traveling out to matches on the civilian side, because you're always going to meet phenomenal people and you're always going to make good connections. But on the Marine Corps side, it's like we all share a bond that you're never going to get anywhere else. And to be able to share your passions with people who wear the same cloth as you and see the reaction on their face whenever they figure something out or they try something new and they really enjoy it. It's a pretty cool experience to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been one or two times where I've scrolled through like the old shooting team posts on like social media and just like reliving all the memories there, or like just looking through old pictures and like all those. And it's usually like either very funny situations on the range or very funny situations off the range that really stick out. And yeah, it's weird knowing that that's going to be. I mean, we're going to keep shooting matches for a long time, but that type of camaraderie is something that it's not going to be recreated on the civilian side. So it's pretty special thing to have.
So I got to say, before we end this, is there anything you would like to leave the listeners with?
Let's see. I guess kind of it's going back to one of the previous questions, but just being at a different unit now and looking at the shooting team from the outside, first off makes me like very appreciative, and I'm lucky to work with a lot of really good guys at my new unit now too. But very appreciative, like the guys that are at the shooting team, the quality of talent that they're bringing in, and then also seeing like their continual drive to like prove their existence, because I know we've talked about a bunch before, like if it's actually true or not, who knows, but like we've heard the stories like people calling the shooting team an expensive luxury. And I think they're definitely doing some good things now that are trying to disprove that, if anybody actually said it. So yeah, I think continual improvement on the team is the way to go. Like we always have to fight for our existence. And then also just pick up a gun and get good with it. It doesn't matter what. You got to commit your time to it. Building a bunch of match experience. Like I know people are big on the dry fire routines and the practice routines, and that's really important. But like shooting every local match that you can, especially in the beginning, makes a huge difference and builds up a ton of skill that you might not realize. So that way, anything you come across is really nothing new. Yeah, that's all I got. And make some good friends along the way. It's no fun to be around the dude who's so worried about his performance or is going around and telling everybody about how bad he just did. It's no fun to be around that guy. Mm-hmm. So just like, be a good dude and then ask people about like more than their shooting. Ask them about like their personal life or who they are as a person, because that's going to bring a lot more fulfillment to go into all these matches.
I would totally agree. Frank, you got anything?
No, we should absolutely condense people into just their shooting ability. No, but you're spot on. I thought this was a great conversation, Chris. I appreciate the chance to pick your brain.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's fun to be back on, and I've been really enjoying listening to your guys' podcasts. Past couple have been pretty stinking on point. I thought they flowed really well. I'm pumped. It gets me excited.
Well, I do appreciate this, and this is not a farewell to my captain, oh captain. But, you know, I'm going to miss having you around. We're both leaving this year. I'm looking forward to having you at my retirement ceremony as my retiring officer. I really appreciate the friendship and the bond that we've created, and I look forward to seeing your success in the future. And to all my listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this and let us know what you think.